Is this my moment? Are you handing?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. All right. Sorry for the awkward silence. Hi, my name is Bridget Agabra of Gentle Tech Health. Founded a local tech service company that does training and service for seniors, background in tech writing and gerontology, and enjoy sharing this excitement of being able to use technology. And boy, the last 2 years have shown us, haven't they, about how we all need to be digitally savvy. So thank you very much for coming today. I am so excited to be here. I thank Lakeshore so much. Afterwards, you will be getting a very detailed set of notes from Lakeshore about what we're doing today. So I encourage you to follow along, but also don't worry, you know, I'll be going fast. I like to say I kind of give a fire hose of information and then lots of details in this follow-up email, so you'll be able to go step by step. One of my favorite classes to teach because it's got some practical and it's got some fun. It's important for you guys to know that iPhones differ substantially between both every year that they come out with a phone, they come out with sort of 3 different versions of the phone. There are so many versions of the phone out, so many models over such a long amount of time. And there are different operating systems. So your phone may be different. Every phone's going to have some bit of this. And in the notes that you're getting today will be, it'll start showing you how to see what version of your phone you have. Actually, maybe we'll just do that first. So just know that if you're looking at your phone and you don't see this thing, maybe look at the notes, and it just could be that it could be a phone that is not working with that. And let's see, I could see Donna and Suzanne. So you're the only people I can see. So if you could you represent the entire audience to me. So no pressure on you guys, but here we go. So on the note, we'll just take a minute on this. Okay, on your notes, it starts off with how to find your phone type and what it's running. And let me get my phone shared with you. Okay, let me get my phone shared with you. It'll be just a moment. Just a moment. All right. So if you have an iPhone, one of the most frequent places you might go when you do something is called settings. It's a gray gear, not a gray goose, but a gray gear. And we tap the gray gear. And there's a couple ways that you can find where your thing is. Probably many of you have a little thing that says there's an update. They just released an update today, a little security update. So you want to make sure you get that installed when you have a chance. So you're going to scroll down. You're going to tap your name up at the top and then scroll down a little bit to see, your name, like Bridget's iPhone here. And that tells me I have a 13 Pro. I have had it for 2 weeks. It's still a new phone to me. And the software version I'm running is 15.3. And unless you updated your phone today, you probably won't have 15.3. You'll probably have 15.2, 15.2.1, 15.2.2. But if you have 15 here or 14, almost everything that we do today is going to apply to you. If you have a 12, if you have a much older phone and the iOS is 12 or something, not so much of this is going to apply to you, but I think you will still get something out of it because you will get some things will apply to you. All right, so that's how you find your phone model and your iOS version. So the first thing I like to do is to let people know that there is a way to add your health and medical information in the phone so that it's almost like a life alert in terms of being able to give information to first responders if they get to you. I'll show you how to put in both your health information and your medical ID. And then I'll show you there's 2 settings that we're going to get to when we do that. And one of those settings says if my phone, okay, I have to do this so my phone doesn't wake up. If my phone is locked, you know how your phone is locked and you either need to put in a number or your thumbprint or your face or something. There's a setting that says if my phone is locked and nobody can get in, and I have to do this carefully so it doesn't see. You can see here how it says emergency. If somebody tries to get into my phone and can't get in, it says emergency down here. If I tap emergency, it says medical ID. First responders and people who know about it can get in to just see my medical ID and my emergency contacts, but not get into my phone and use it. So that's one setting we'll look at. And when I was working with somebody, her brother came in, who's a physician, and said, oh yeah, the emergency thing, we all know about that. So, so that's a choice you'll be able to make. And then there's another choice down there that says for some kinds of emergency stations, what would we call, like, our Medic One up here, for some kinds of emergency centers, they have a way, if you call emergency on the phone, they can suck up your medical information and somehow get it to the first responders coming to your house. So they know if you have a history of heart attacks or something, or they know what medication you take before they walk in the door. I don't know if any place has that besides, I assume Cupertino, California, where Apple is located. I assume they probably paid for the emergency services there to have one so they could test it, but those are two choices. So we will start then with this health and medical information. And to put in your health and medical information, we don't go to settings, surprisingly. We're going to go to an app called Health, and that's on all phones automatically. It's Health. It's white with a little red heart. If you can't find it, there's another tip. Swipe with your finger to the left several times, and you get a little app library, and you can type in the top and type in the word health. It pops up there. Okay. Here's my health. You can tell I have blood oxygen from my watch. So here we are. Here's where we're going to start entering that data. It's the health app, I have to say, is very valuable. I find it actually very cluttered though. So don't worry if you get a bit lost. And if it's the first time you've opened it, Apple tends to want to walk you through with a tutorial. So you might not even be able to follow along with us if you have a big window with blue on it saying, hey, let us show you around. But for everybody else, if you have a screen like this, you've got the summary page, the little blue heart, summary. And I'm going to tap on my picture up here. Yours might just have an initial of your name, or it might just have an odd little shape of a silhouette person. And here we go. Up here we have health details and medical ID. And I'm going to tap first on health details. Here's my basic stuff. And I tap the word edit in the upper right. Now that I'm in the edit mode, and I have changed some of my information here so that on this video, everybody watching the video, this is not my actual information. You can now put in your name. You could put in your date of birth. You can change it. You can put in your gender. So you tap in these fields. Right? Once you've tapped the word edit, it allows you in. Fitzpatrick skin type is skin color. And I've taught this with a doctor in the class who said she's never used that. So it's just your skin color, literally. You can answer a question about whether you use a wheelchair, both for the Apple Watch. Important one down here at the bottom, medications that affect heart rate. If you do take calcium channel blockers, or if you take beta blockers, you would want to tap the little circle to turn that on. Okay. So this is the small one. This is the one that you can do quick, blood type, fine. And I'm going to hit done. And I'm going to hit in the other corner, back to my profile. Now here's where the juicy stuff is. Medical ID, right? When I tap on medical ID, it has a little red star at the top because this is the emergency stuff. And then I tap edit. Now I can change, I can add, this is where I put medical conditions. You know, I'm just going to put measles for whatever reason. Okay. medical notes, anything I want somebody to know if they're treating me medically. Allergies, you're just tapping your finger in the space. Medications that are taken, again, the blood type, weight during COVID, other information, language. Then emergency contacts. This is great. This is great. And also, so it's great to put the right people in here and also to make sure. I was given a class and this woman said, why is Lakeview Pizza an emergency contact? Somehow in playing with her phone, Lakeview Pizza had become an emergency contact. And she said, really, it wasn't. I'll let you know, most of us like, okay, it's an emergency pizza. Make sure that you don't have a pizza place here in your emergency contacts. How do you add a contact? These are my sons. How do you add an emergency contact? First off, they need to be in your contacts. So make sure that they've already been entered into your regular old contacts. I'm going to tap add emergency contact. I'm going to tap this person, Anna. I'm going to tap a relationship. Let's make her my daycare. I don't know. Okay. And then I would hit done up in the top and she would be in there as an emergency person. Now, as it happens, I don't want her to be. So I tap edit again and I tap the red minus and delete. If the person you pick has more than one, like phone number or email or whatever, make sure it's one that they can get a message on. Okay. Then we come to those two questions that I talked about beforehand. Show when locked and share during emergency call. By tapping the little button, I turn them on or off. Green means on. It could be, I mean, technically anybody who picks up your phone, if you have this like I do, show, even if the phone is locked, let somebody get into my medical information. I mean, it could be that somebody could pick up your phone and, you know, try to get in and then see your emergency information, see your medical conditions and your emergency contacts. So whether you turn that on or not is really a choice of yours. For me, I think the odds are bet, you know, I'd rather have somebody be able to kind of get hold of things, but other people go, no, I don't want somebody to be able to get in. I once found a really big new iPhone walking along Gilman Boulevard here in Issaquah, and they didn't have this set up. Like I tried to get in to just notify their emergency contacts that this person had dropped a big, brand new, very expensive iPhone, and they didn't have it set up. So I had to take the phone to the police department. Who knows what happened? So let me make sure I didn't change anything for myself. Okay. When you're done, you hit done in the upper right-hand corner, back to your profile. That's that. Now that takes longer to set up than we have to do right now. So you'll have the instructions. It's just amazing to have your medication in there. For many of you who may already have a life alert, it's like a backup. It's like a backup. Okay. Let's step into, well, I guess I'll take the questions afterwards about that rather than this. So we have about 4 or 5 things that we're going to do. Magic inside your phone. That one I find super valuable. People usually don't know it's there. People usually don't know it's there. And there can be some nice tie-ins if you have an Apple Watch too, with some of that medical information. So next, I would like to step into something that not very many people know about, which is the augmented reality aspects of the phone. And that is not every phone. Definitely not every phone. More phones have this than not have it at this point, but just know this is one of those things that could be a little different on your phone. So to get to this, we're going to use an app called Measure. and it comes on the phone. Sometimes people have deleted it or don't find it, so you might have to download it again or use the app library, that very thing that in the back, and type the word measure, M-E-A, measure, and tap on it. It looks like a ruler. Ooh, I don't want to give away the fun now. Okay, so what this phone has in it, what the augmented reality enabled phones are, they have like kind of a gyroscope, and they have these ways that the cameras are used. It can become a ruler. It can measure just by what it sees. And this is a moment where it's going to be, you won't be able to see what I'm measuring. You'll be able to see through my phone. So if you look at my phone, and hopefully you're seeing my phone kind of big on your screen. I'm going to tap measure. And at the very bottom, there's two icons. One says measure, one says level. So I'm starting with measure. And I've got a piece of art with a cat and Mount Fuji and the Space Needle. Just something very Seattle here. All right. So I'm going to use my phone to measure. You can see this circle with a dot. That dot is my starting point, and I'm using my finger and I'm tapping on the plus sign. And I am raising the phone physically up, up, up as I go up to the top of the frame, and I tap it again. And you can see it's a 16-inch. You can see right there in the middle. Sorry that it's not steady. 16 inches tall. And at the bottom, I'm going to tap the plus again and move my phone along. I'm not just pointing the camera, I'm actually moving my phone. And tap that. It says 12 and a half. It's probably 12. So by looking here, you can see 16 by 12, 12 and a half. Didn't have a ruler, didn't have a yardstick. You know those yardsticks that you kind of keep around and you use maybe once every 2 years, those big yardsticks, right? When you want to get a new chair or something. So let me pull this up for a minute. So what I say, oh, were you guys able to see that, or was my phone not updating? Were you guys seeing me measure? Can somebody, let's see,
Yes.
You did, okay. Because right now it's kind of seems locked to me. All right, great. So what I tell people though is you're not going to use this as a ruler to do fine carpentry. You're going to use this as a ruler to measure, is this couch going to fit? Is this chair going to fit? If you find yourself in a store or, you know, a thrift shop or something, and you're like, oh my gosh, what would this fit? You have a ruler here in your pocket. Don't think a lot of people know that. The next thing though is super fun. Okay, let me see if I can. It's very odd to me that it doesn't look. Okay, there we go. Okay, this one is kind of fun, although it's kind of awkward to do here on camera. Actually, I'll stop this first. Okay, I'll explain it first. So I'm taking my priceless Marc Chagall postcard, priceless, and I'm going to pretend that it's a piece of artwork that I have hanging in my house, because I don't want to bring my other original Chagalls over here. Okay, and let's say I've hung my Chagall a little bit crooked. So you can see this is crooked. So you know how a carpenter's level has that little bubble in it? You hold it up to something and you can see whether or not something's level. So I'm going to use that same app, that same measure. Down at the bottom, instead of the ruler, I'm going to tap the word level. Now you can see both on my phone, and in the real world. Okay. Here's my artwork. I'm taking the top of the phone and I'm holding it to the bottom of the artwork. And you can see that it's off. You can see that that's off 14 degrees. I'm going to try and rehang it straight. Let's see how well I can do that. Oh no, my Chagall. All right. Here it is. I take the phone. I hold it just kind of butted up against the bottom. And it's still off a little. There it is. It's green when it's absolutely level. So it's not actually using the top to see anything. It's just using its own little internal gyroscope to know whether it's level or not. So if you're somebody like me, once you know that this exists on your phone, you can run around your house and level everything, right? And it's kind of, okay, it's fun for somebody like me to look at a picture and go, okay, I'm going to try and make it straight. Okay, I think it's straight now. And then you use this and see if it's really straight. So that's augmented reality. That's your measuring tape and your carpenter's wheel. I think it's super fun. Another thing that's on your phone is a scanner. And when we talk about a scanner, this is a scanner just like your big old dusty scanner that's taking up this much room in your home office, right? That big scanner that you use, I don't know how often, probably more frequently than the yardstick, but not much more. So this has a scanner. And what's the difference between just taking a picture of something and a scanner? Good question, right? For a lot of purposes, you can take a picture of something and send it to somebody, right? If you're just sharing some information with somebody, you could take a picture of something. But some legal sites, some state sites require that what is submitted is not a picture. It has to be a PDF, and a PDF is a document format. Slightly less susceptible, somewhat less susceptible to being tampered with. But for, I guess I should have said a PDF. And when something is a picture, it's a computer file picture, and maybe it's a .jpg or .gif, or just it's a computer code that tells the other computer this is a picture, right? And some things, when they say we need a scan, well, lawyer things need a scan, state things need a scan, it means their computers won't take something that says it's a picture. It must be scanned. So now this has a scanning feature. And I think that they made this retroactive to many of the older phones. Oops. So this one is always interesting because I have to stand up a little. So I have the boring back of a bank statement as a sample. I'll take my priceless Chagall postcard in a bit. Move a couple other things. Okay. So to get to your scanner, it doesn't even start with your camera. It's very funny. It starts with your Notes app. And the Notes app is, looks like lined paper with the yellow on the top. I think it's supposed to look like a notebook. And sometimes when you open Notes, it opens to the notes you have already had. Do whatever in the upper left-hand corner to get back to the regular old beginning page here. And in the bottom right, you're going to have this little symbol. We would have called it in old days pencil and paper. I'm sure it's like an electronic tablet and stylus. But that usually means a new document in the Apple world. I'm going to type new there. I'm going to tap that. Now I could write a note, the grocery note or something. But if I tap the camera inside of Notes, I'm going to have an option to scan a document. And by choosing scan a document, I'm telling it to save it in that PDF way, not like a photo way. So you get the choice of watching me. Well, I'll describe what I'm going to do because it's one of these exciting things. There's two parts to it. I have to stand up and hold the camera looking down at the document. So I have to stand so that the camera is looking down at the document. And I'm going to hold it kind of still. And mine is set up to automatically take the picture. You'll notice the document gets yellow, right? The camera is trying real hard to say, okay, now, and there's probably not a lot of light in here. Okay, now it's clear enough for us to do a scan. So when it's yellow, it'll just automatically take a scan. If yours is set a different way, you might need to manually tap. Looks like a shutter button, just like a camera, and it'll take the scan. So I'm going to tell it to scan this document. I'm going to stand up. See, and it just automatically took it, and I'll do another one. I'm just holding still. Boop. I'm going to save these two. So that's what it took. And these are now scanned. I'm going to pretend like this is a 2-page document. Oops. Now what do I do with it? I want to do something with it. I want to name it something. So I'm tapping up there where it said page. Oops. See what it says? Page 2 of 2. Page 2 of 2 is what Apple thinks it's called because the very first thing it saw was page 2 of 2. And it's a little bit pink here because of the way the lighting is. If it was in a well-lit space, it would be pink. So I'm going to tap where it says 2 of 2. Tap where it says 2 of 2 and tap on the top. We're going to put test for picture. Okay. And now we're going to use the Apple symbol for send it away somewhere, do something with it. It's in the upper right hand. Again, all of these are going to be in your notes. And I know you're like, it's hard to follow that quickly. All this is in notes. So I'm going to tap the send it away somewhere. And now it's in what you want to do with it as an individual. You can attach it to a mail. You can send it as a text. You can save it if you do your files in iCloud files. I use Microsoft. I could save it to Microsoft OneDrive or Google Drive, or I could just text it or email it to myself or email it to a lawyer, right? It's already an attachment there. So I picked Gmail. It's already an attachment. I just have to put who I want to send it to. So that is now a PDF document. And that could be, you can have that much more space left in your house. Okay. You can get rid of the scanner. You can get rid of the yardstick in the back of the hall closet, right? And the carpenter's level, which are usually beautiful and really old, that you could just put up as a display somewhere because those are beautiful. But you can get some space back from in your home. And then I think it's our last. So this was our scanner. The last thing includes a couple of new things, one not so new and one kind of new. And that is using a QR code. Now, lots of people have been using QR codes. There's these things that look like this. QR codes because restaurants now want the menus change so often. A QR code kind of sends you to a web page. That's all it is. It's like a shortcut for your phone, for anything, for computer, to go to a web page. It's just a web address that a computer can read. So a lot of times restaurants now, instead of reprinting the menus every time they're out of something or when the prices go up, they give you a QR code and you go to the website and then you're squinting looking at the menu on the phone because sometimes they're really hard to read. But I have a prop here. In real life, here is a QR code on the back of a box of Bisquick on the side. Here's a QR code. So I can show you what a QR code does for Bisquick. Right? Handy dandy to look at a QR code. I'm tapping on my camera, my regular old camera, and I'm putting the QR code in the middle. And you'll see, I hope, the word Bisquick.com there in yellow. And I tap that and boom, boom, boom. My phone is now taking me to Betty Crocker, where I want these dumplings. All right. So you can see a restaurant menu with this. If you go to Bellevue Gardens, at least as of a few years ago, they had plant identification set up with these QR codes. Although if you're going to put that up, you might as well put up the plant name.
How did you bring up that QR code thing?
I just tapped my camera.
Where? Oh, tap your camera.
My regular old camera, as if I was taking a picture.
Okay.
And I pointed it at the QR code. And then I used my thumb. And tapped and went to Bisquick. What you don't want to do, I mean, it's a website address. So what you don't want to do, I encourage you to not. If you're walking around downtown Seattle and you see QR codes stuck up on telephone poles, right? Know that if you point your phone to it and you go somewhere, you may be going somewhere that you don't like what you see, right? Bisquick, I know I'm going to get Bisquick. Bellevue Botanical Garden, I know I'm going to get to some information about plants or something, menu, restaurant, right? It's just, don't just go, oh, I found a QR code in the wild. If it's a sketchy area, it's just the same thing as don't walk down a dark alley, you know, that you have no business being in if there's no reason to go there. So don't, you know, it's not like it's going to break anything, but you know, there's no telling what kind of picture may be on the other side of that. Right? Enough warning on that. And my last one, and then we have time for questions or practicing, is how to get your vaccination information in your iPhone wallet and health. It'll go into both at the same time. So first I'll show you what it winds up being on mine, and then I'll show you the steps to get that. So I'll look, one way to see it is I'm back in that very complex, lots of stuff going on, health app, and I'm hitting browse. And down here, I have immunization. By tapping on immunizations, because this is the first time I've done anything like that, it's here. And I got my booster in the state of California on a trip. And as of now, there's no way that two states can combine them. So mine looks like this. Now, that's still a little too much if I have to show that. So I used to take a picture of my card, and then I'd have to go into my photos, and then I'd have to go into my favorites, and then I'd have to, like, so much easier to just have it be in this Apple Wallet that I don't use anything else for. Apple Wallet. It's one of those things that's on your iPhone. Wallet. Here we go. Here are my passes, and they come with those big giant QR codes. So if I'm with any organization that needs those, I got it. So this, look how easy that was for me to get to instead of like finding whatever, right? And my card is safely at home. Wallet, there it is. It's right here, okay? So how do we get that? Let me tell you how we get that. And it'll be in your notes. I'm going to stop sharing my phone really quickly and share the website. And it's important that you go to the right website, also included in your notes. You don't want to go to some scammy other website. I think there's something that is very close to WaVerify that isn't the waverify.departmentofhealth.washington.gov. So you want to go to the real Washington State, not something similar, right? To get your verification record, it's so simple. They made it so simple. You just put your first name, your last name, your date of birth. You tell them you want it. Well, hopefully you gave them your phone number when you got your test result, when you signed up. Put your phone number in. Make a 4-digit PIN number. You're only going to use it right now. It's not a big one to think about. You submit it. And then the next page says something like, download for a couple people entering late. It says something like download compatible for Apple Wallet, Apple Health. So when you say yes, they'll text you, and you hit boom, save to Apple Wallet, save to Apple Health, and it's there. It takes 5 minutes. It's like something that actually works. right now in these days. And it just, for me, it makes it so easy to get to versus scrambling for a picture or worrying if I'm going to lose my.
Can you quickly
card.
go over that just one last time? I'm
Sure. It starts not on the
at the
phone.
wallet. I'm
Well,
putting it in my wallet. I'm putting
right.
it in my wallet right now.
So you're actually doing it with the state. You've already
Yes.
contacted the state and you got your code.
Oh, no. I mean, I was putting my card, my verification of my immunizations.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you just went over? I'm sorry.
Yes, I did. So the way that starts is it starts by getting a digital text from the Washington State
Oh,
Department
I
of Health.
see. Oh, you have
Yes.
to do that first.
Yes.
Okay.
So to get it into the wallet, it has to come from the state in a digital way. It's digital information. It gets texted to your phone from the state and you open it up there and it gets entered in. Right. So the steps are definitely going to be in your notes, but just really make sure that you're going to waverify.doh.wa.gov. There's already people doing kind of scammy, there's always somebody out to do something crooked. So just make sure, like everything you do everywhere, is you're really at the state, but it's so quick. Name, date of birth. This is the information that you gave them when you got the vaccine. The next page says something like, send it, send it in a way that's suitable for Apple Health, and they'll send it to you, and you do that. And step by step notes will follow all of this, because I know that was a lot. And be brave. Be brave. The notes are step by step. Take your phone. If you make a mistake, you can always just close whatever you're doing and start again. Let me go here. So, however your phone closes an app, you can fling the app up in the sky or whatever you do to close an app. I'm going to close my wallet by flinging it up into the sky. That was a very funny translation thing that went wrong. So close it, start it again. But you can consider these things, and hopefully not everybody knew about all of these aspects of their iPhone. And there are so many other things that iPhones do besides messaging and texting and occasional phone calls. And I don't know how often anybody actually does a talking phone call with their family on it. But there's so many things to these, and you might as well get your money's worth, because these are not cheap devices. So I'm good for questions now. I don't see any in chat. Is it okay with who's my rep that's available right now?
Yeah, I don't see any questions in chat. If anyone has any questions, you can type it into the chat box at the bottom of your screen.
Is it okay if they use voice?
Or if you can unmute.
Yeah.
I see Susan.
Yes.
Suzanne has a question.
Yeah, let's see Suzanne.
Okay, my brother's in the hospital and we had to send a document, but they wanted it brought in. Could they use the scanner? Would the PDF work? Do you know?
I would ask them to say, will you accept a PDF of that document?
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, then I have a couple of questions. With Weight Watchers,
Yeah.
they encourage you to go to the grocery store and scan the products, and it tells you on your program how many points you've got. So you do that. Is that, well, it's slick, but does that mean that it's safe?
Oh, sure. Yeah. You just,
okay.
It's, you're in the grocery store, those companies are gonna, that's safe. Just the example I could use is like an alley in downtown Seattle where they're gonna take, you don't know what the picture they're gonna show you. You don't know what they're selling. You know in the grocery store what they're selling. You don't know what they're selling in the alley.
And that was really one of the best things that I've learned, because I am always looking for the dumpling recipe, which is no longer on Bisquick. So thank you for that.
Do you know what though? Here's the disappointment. They only tell you how to make the dumplings, which, spoiler, it's just Bisquick and water. They don't tell you how to make all the stuff underneath it. And I'm like, I want to make the stew.
Yeah, I
No, they
know.
just tell you mix some water and Bisquick and then put it in your stew that you've made somehow. offline.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have other? You used to have to get a separate app to do QR codes.
Uh-huh.
So I
Would
have-
you do a follow-up with more like this? Well, you can ask Lakeshore. You can go to my website. You can, King County Library also has do some work with them. But feel free to ask Era Living. How can I get this information? One person says, if you are registered for this, I will be sending the notes to Stephanie. I guess should I send it to you? And Stephanie
That's fine.
will be in charge of getting that out to everybody who registered today,
Okay.
even if they weren't quite able to come. And there's also going to be video.
Okay.
There must be another question.
Can I ask
No.
a question?
Sure. Who?
Ellen?
Yes.
Limar.
Yeah.
I downloaded that smart health card, and it shows that I put all my information in, and it says to save, take a screenshot or download. What does that screenshot mean? How do you do that? Or download?
Download.
Or download?
Yeah, download. Maybe it's download rather than, yes,
Okay.
download.
All right, then I tapped on the download, and then it says download. Should I just click on the download? It says X or download. Well, I guess I already did download it. I don't know. I'm not good at that.
How
Just,
to get emoji bigger. Oh,
is it
that will
okay
be-
just to hit that download and that's
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can't, it's really, it's very hard for me to actually do any one-on-one like this because I don't know your
Yeah, that's right.
machine. I can't see that, but
Right.
I just go ahead and follow along
Okay.
with what it's telling you. And worst case, you could start again. I think somebody said how to get emoji bigger, like if you're texting somebody. That's not really what we're talking about today, but I'll take a moment to do that. The emoji are, well, here's an emoji here. Let me share my screen real quick. This isn't on topic, but I will share it super quick.
And then I have a question.
Okay, is it on topic?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, then I'll rush through this. Here I'm texting to, are you seeing my phone yet? There we go, Kroger. By default, if you put in 3 or 4, if you put in more than 3, they get small. So the only way you're going to do it is by just putting in 1 or 2 or 3. And I'm not going to text kissy faces to Kroger. Okay, what was the
My question is, how do I make my screen stay on longer? It turns off really fast and I have to do my code to get back into my phone again.
Okay. This is all right. Well, I mean, okay, we have a little time, so we're off topic, but I'll just go ahead and do it. In your phone settings, these will not be in the notes. In your phone settings, in your, I think it's display and brightness. Display and brightness. Auto lock. Auto lock is how long it takes before the screen locks. And the decision to make here, when you change the auto lock in your settings and then display and brightness, the decision is how long do you want to leave your phone unlocked? If your phone's unlocked, somebody can pick it up and do anything they want with it. I mean, obviously your banking apps and things would probably have you probably have to do a password or Face ID or something, but basically a lock is a lock. So if your phone is unlocked and you're in a restaurant and you leave it on the table and somebody walks along and picks it up within that 5 minutes, they can kind of poke around in your phone. That's one side of it. The flip side is, I think their default is like The default time, I believe, oh, I keep doing that one, is 30 seconds or something. And it's just always locking itself. And you're like, I'm home all day. Can
Right.
you just take a break? So
I'm having trouble bringing up the screen you brought up.
yeah, settings, display and brightness,
Display.
auto lock. Settings, display, right? Or look on Apple's website for auto lock. Auto lock. Because you don't mind. It doesn't really matter if it dims, like if you're not using it. It's just locking is a problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but understand the trade-off there. The trade-off, I tell people, most people, please don't ever put never, because then your phone is never fully secured. But
Mhm.
there are some people whose life situations are such that they can't handle any kind of locking in. And then it's important for the phone to just not to have as little as possible on it. So don't put never, but you can stretch it out. All right, other question?
I see one
Hopefully
from
related to
Donna.
something we did today, but
I see one from Donna. How do we get your notes again? Donna, we'll be sending out your notes from Bridget, as well as an evaluation form after. And if just for the sake of time, if we have any other questions, please feel free to email them to Lexi or to myself, and we'll get that out to Bridget.
yes, and thank you. And please do the response cards, both for Lakeshore. It helps both the ERA doing programming, and it helps all the presenters make presentations that work for you. Let's see. And the other one was, I do not have an iPhone, but a Samsung Android. Well, I hope you had a good time anyway. I mean, I'm not being flippant, but it's sort of like, it's a motorcycle or a truck. They're both vehicles, they both do things, but they're so different. I did, but I do not have some of those. Yeah, pretty much most of the things I talk about are like very specific to iPhone, so you won't find them. There's probably equivalent things on Androids, but all Androids are different. Like a Samsung Android phone is different than like a Cricket phone or a flip phone that you would get somewhere. So Androids can be all kinds of different things, and Apples can be newer or older Apple devices, but an Android could be all kinds of different things. I am glad you came too. I'm so glad you came too. She said, I'm still glad I came.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank
So-
you guys very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your notes.
Thank
Be
you.
brave. Be brave.
Thank you
Great.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. So thank you, Bridget. And that was Bridget Agabrov, bringing us hidden magics from your iPhone. And Bridget brings a lifetime of tech engagement, small business experience, and compassionate assistance through her work with gentletechhelp.com. We will be emailing everyone an evaluation form, and would love to hear your feedback on this presentation, as well as any suggestions you may have for future Zoom presentations. And if you have any questions about the Lakeshore or would like a tour, please feel free to reach out to Alicia, or myself, Stephanie Strickland, at the Community Relations Office, or calling us at 206-772-1200. Thank you, and this concludes today's presentation. We hope you've had a wonderful rest of your day and week, and we look forward to seeing you again at future events.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's figure out how to do that.